Hi friends. Thank you for joining me tonight. This was fun. I was really excited to play this game, and I'm really glad that I have gotten a chance to do so and that I got to do so on stream for play-by-play. I mean, I feel like this game had a lot of promise, really based just on the work that Supergiant has done in the past, and I feel like it has lived up to that promise in a remarkable way, which is very exciting for me. And I think that you know, there's a lot of depth to it. There's a lot to sort of think about and consider, and you know, just even in the first part of this game, and this is something that I'm really excited to continue playing in general, and we'll see how that plays out in terms of play-by-play. I know for the next couple of weeks we've got some other special things scheduled that I am also very excited about, and then school starts, and so we're gonna figure out scheduling is probably gonna be a little bit weird for a little while, but yeah, if I have the opportunity to keep playing this on stream, I would like to. If I don't, then forgive me if I want to just keep playing it, because it's fun. I am enjoying this. Let's look at questions. Jason has a really good one about the hypertext. Seems to me that the hypertext is partially there to reinforce the role of reader, capitalized and in quotes, by making reading an active thing in the game. Does that seem accurate? How well is it doing with that? That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, reader is emphasized so strongly in the game as a role, as your identity as a player. So clearly that's something that the game wants to reinforce, and will reinforce on multiple levels. The idea that it's doing that with the hypertext, I think, you know, makes some degree of sense. I don't feel like it's effective. And because I don't feel like it's effective, I wonder, like, I feel like it's so ineffective that I'm not sure how much intention to attribute to it. It's effective on sort of a purely theoretical level. Like the fact that I have more than one way to engage with the text. I can just read it linearly, but I can also pull out some specific words to get more information. That makes it just automatically. That makes it more active. Like there are more ways that I can activate it. In practice, I don't feel like I'm actually doing that actively, and when I do attempt to do it actively, I don't feel like I'm rewarded for doing it actively. I don't feel like it's actually reinforcing that sort of like active reading. It seems like it is more of a convenience feature, which is very in keeping with other elements that sort of, you know, comprise an aesthetic of the game that is an extreme I'm actually trying to figure out why I think these things are related. There's an extreme sort of sense of, I'm also trying to like figure out what this is and how to describe it. Part of me wants to describe it in terms of the objectivity and subjectivity of character-based storytelling. The character that I am playing in this game has a distinct identity, and the game goes out of its way to make that distinct identity, or at least an experience that is separate from my experience. The game goes out of its way to make that experience available to me, right? By telling me so much about what she's thinking, the sort of feelings and senses that she gets, by giving me context in dialogue choices that help me understand her relationship to different possible answers or lines of questioning or whatever. So it seems somewhat related to objective characters, meaning characters that exist separate from the player, as opposed to subjective characters that are meant to be, you know, empty, hollow shells for the player to subsume. You are meant to feel like you are in the game, rather than you are controlling a distinct character who's in the game. There's also something that is like just super related to a jag that I've been on recently about hidden information and unreliable narrators in games. That it has just been like a weird bee in my bonnet of in all of these narratives where a player character should know things or does know things about the world, but the way the story is constructed or the dialogue is constructed, those things are obscured from the player, and how that tends to just annoy the hell out of me. This game is going further than I have ever seen in the opposite direction of trying to make as accessible as possible anything that the player might think is relevant about what the character knows or sees or thinks or feels or senses about the situation at hand. And I predictably fucking love that. I think that's super cool. What was the question about? It was about hypertext. So for some reason, perhaps because they're mechanically similar, the interface for the two is so similar, I relate that to the other thing. I'm also gonna... Alright, so this is also why it's related. Big difference between the player of the game and the character in the game is the continuity of time. So playing this game, and this is, you know, extreme and heightened for me as somebody who is conceivably playing this game once a week or once a month for a couple of hours on stream. But regardless, if I'm playing this game over the course of several sessions, there are big lapses of time in between those play sessions that, from the perspective of the character, is absolutely continuous time, right? There is no gap between what happened in the previous scene and what happens in the next scene, even if I play the next scene 3 or 4 weeks from now, right? So the character has all of the information that has been presented in the story so far is fresh for the character. But for me, 4 weeks from now, I might really be thankful for all of those glossary reminders of what the fuck stuff is. And so in that sense, it's doing the same thing. It's helping break down barriers between what the character experiences, what the character knows, and what is accessible to me as a player playing that character, in a way that's very different than the sort of objective versus subjective character approach, which is, absolutely does not do that. A subjective character doesn't give you access to sort of information, extra information about what the character sees or thinks or remembers, because it is assumed that the character does not exist outside of the player's experience of them. So this is super, super different from that. And it's something that I really haven't seen explored a lot in other games. And certainly not beyond like text adventures, interactive fiction. And I think is super interesting and welcome in my mind. Okay, on a scale of love to love, how much do you love this game so far? So far, I love it a lot. It is interesting to me how much I see of both Bastion and Transistor in it. It strikes me as similar to Bastion in how some of these moves, I mean, there is a brawleriness to the combat, where you are you're effectively like shooting this blast ray, and you can detonate like a area of effect charge where you are, and there's also something about the like zipping around, like changing who you are controlling and who has the ball, that has the same kind of frantic feel. There's a lot of like, I'm trying to, and this is you know, it concerns me a little bit because this is part of what pushed me away from Bastion. There's a lot of like, there are a lot of things going on in different parts of the screen, and you need to be like pretty cognizant of all of them so that you can react appropriately to all of them. It's a very, I mean, I also relate it to the kind of feel of play of like a shmup, which is another kind of thing that I don't especially enjoy. That kind of like total awareness of your surroundings, because things are going to be happening in any given like direction that affect how you need to be moving in like a split second sort of a way. So there's some of that. It feels like there's some of that in like the combat design. But the fact that there's only 3 opponents, and the way that the sort of like, I really like the auras. I think the auras are very clever and interesting. I like the combination. Right now it feels like there is a very simple rock, paper, scissory kind of interaction between not just the characters, who all have like big and slow or fast and small, but also if you don't have the ball, then you are much more powerful than if you have the ball, and if you're sprinting, then you're much faster than if you're not. So if you're sprinting and you don't have the ball, then you can do all kinds of crazy stuff. Unless the person who has the ball is jumping, and then sprinting, you'll just sprint past them, and so then that's like dangerous. And like there's that little system of actions and mechanics and dynamics and states like feels really good to me. Feels really solid. It's fun to play. And the fact that that is the core of the game, I think, is fantastic. I'm super, super excited about continuing to play the game that has that at its core. Now it is introducing sort of complications on top of that, which is fine as far as it goes. My concern is just how much it is going to complicate that. And if it's going to complicate it, like too far beyond that nice, tight, pure core that I feel really good about, then I might start to feel less good about it. Okay, and then, so Bastion, Transistor, there's this sense of there are a lot of different characters with different abilities that act in concert. So you have, you know, right now I've got, what do I have, 4? 5? I have 5 characters that I have to choose 3 from the 5, and then I also have to outfit them with different amulets, and I'm also upgrading them in, you know, binary kinds of ways. So the combination of all of those things creates very different effects, net effects, even if so far I haven't seen a lot of like combinatorial juiciness between different characters. Like, it doesn't seem like it matters that much that I have you know, the dog and the imp and the demon versus the dog and the imp and the what else is there? Tree girl, Bay. Like, each of them is individually uniquely different, but the combination of them doesn't seem to be that different. Like, that doesn't play off of itself that much so far. We'll see if that changes. Transistor was all about recombinance. It was all about applying things, different combinations of things in different orders to get different effects that all changed in different ways. And so, like, I can see some of that happening here. In Transistor, there were a lot of really good, what I thought were really good mechanics for encouraging you to change things up and try out different recombinant possibilities. And in this game, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. I feel like my tendency in this game is going to be to say, like, here's my favorite character. I'm going to give them the best stuff and then just always use them unless the game literally tells me that I can't. And then I'll be sad about it. And that doesn't seem like the best way to handle those recombinant possibilities. But that, as a player, that's what I'm drawn to. That is what I feel sort of natural incentives to do. And so the game needs to figure out a way to incentivize me to do something more interesting than that. We'll see. Wow, I have not answered a lot of questions, huh? How much money do you require to put on a British accent when you voice the lines of the other doggo? $15,000? Who's the other doggo? Wait, what are you talking about? Who's the other doggo? My doggo? The Rutkin? Teddy Ruskin? Oh god, I don't even know the name of Teddy Ruskin? Rupskin? That can't possibly be right. Who's the other dog? The not me dog? The bad dog? The bad dog that my dog owes money. Okay, Punk Dog. Punk Dog has a British accent. I mean, okay, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. That seems like a big ask. Insert obligatory games, dragons, better, etc. question here. I don't think I've played enough of this game to answer that question. It's an interesting question, though. I mean, it's interesting in particular because of what this game is, right? Partially, I feel like I haven't played enough of the game to answer it because I don't know what the game is doing. In the sense that the dragon question is about what is an interesting element to introduce that breaks the established rules with interesting consequences. I don't have a good enough sense of how the rules are being set up. I feel like the rules are still being set up, right? We've established that, like, this is what a standard match looks like. We've established that we can use these mechanics to do, you know, this one other thing, this, like, defend the fire from a rush, waves of enemies sort of a thing. But I don't think we fully established the extent of the rules. We're certainly still exploring the extent to which we can change the abilities and actions and like a lot of the things that the characters are actually able to do. So I don't know what the game is just naturally going to introduce as things that, you know, your enemies can also do, or things that might change about the environment, which makes it hard to ground a question about, like, okay, so let's take a step back and think about things that the game didn't do. What additionally could we do? So I feel like it feels like we're still in too much of a setup phase. I'm awaiting the payoff. I don't want to speculate too much about what the payoff isn't going to be, because I don't know what it is going to be. The other sort of part of the question, interpretation of the question, is, you know, literally a dragon as fantastical creature. What kind of a role would that character play in the game? And again, like, I am not at all convinced that we're not going to see a dragon. This game, it seems clear to me, like, I'm starting to get what Supergiant is about, and I don't know Bastion well enough to, like, really talk expertly about what that game is doing at its heart. But I can talk about Transistor. I can talk about how Transistor is, you know, a take on a noir story. And also a take on a turn-based strategic battle system, combat system, and also a take on a recombinant inventory system, like an item upgrade system. All of those individually have a really super unique spin on them. They are not like just standard tropes that we see other places that have been crammed together, which, don't get me wrong, that can be great. Most good games are standard tropes, things that have been done before, established, that are crammed together with other things in ways that make them sing. Transistor takes each of those individual things before they get crammed together and just, like, tweaks the hell out of them so that they are not what you would expect them to be. And then it puts them together. And this game is absolutely doing the same thing. This game is, you know, a really, really weird out there take on a sports game. It's also a sort of really weird out there take on a like dialogue driven, I don't want to say choose your own adventure, but like branching path adventure game. It is also a like really out there, weird, wacky, crazy take on a traditional party-based fantasy adventure. Not just as a genre, not like mechanically, just as a like this is Supergiant's fantasy game, in the same way that Transistor was its like crime noir game. And as a fantasy game, I mean, obviously it is like its own deal as a fantasy game. It's not, it's hard to know what to expect from it because it is defying expectation at every turn. But as a fantasy game, as a take on a fantasy game, it seems entirely reasonable to me that we could encounter a dragon at some point. So let's table that question. Let's bring it back when we know more. How rubber-bandy is the player banished after scoring mechanic? How much of it forces you to have a wider appreciation of your 3 characters? So that's great question. It's a little rubber-bandy. My sense of it so far, which is admittedly limited, like I haven't played a ton of the sports ball games and I haven't played the higher level ones, but my sense of it so far is it's a little bit rubber. I thought it was going to be super rubber-bandy. I thought that was the point. It's a little bit rubber-bandy. It is mostly the best mechanic that I have seen so far for making you not just use the same character all the time. And it does that very effectively. And that is a thing that needs to be done. So like it makes sense to me in that context. It is a little bit rubber bandy, obviously, but it doesn't actually seem that rubber bandy to me now that I played it. Why the fuck are you wearing the wrong shirt? Look. Sometimes I have to do laundry. Sometimes I have to wash my clothes. Today is such a day. And I only have so many shirts. This is not... sometimes I get stuck with the wrong shirt. I don't know what to tell you. That's all I can do. Do you think the game would be better or worse with some sort of orders mechanic to let non-controlled characters be moving? This is maybe... Okay, so I can see this being a divisive question. I am absolutely going to say the game would be worse. But it's... because it would complicate the game in a way that I think I would not appreciate. I mean, I definitely would not appreciate. I think that the game is there are plenty of ways to complicate the game, allowing me to focus on just one character at a time is extremely useful, because I don't know enough psychology to like really be able to talk about the limits of attention, but I feel very strongly that there are it's not just a like finite discrete, you can, you know, hold 7 facts in your head at one time, that if you are focusing on a single thing, you can pay more attention to what is going on with and around and in your critical thinking and decision making about that one single thing than you could split up among several things. So like, just to quantify shit that you know probably cannot be easily quantified, if you can, like, if you have room in your head to understand, you know, 7 things about the single character that you're playing, while completely ignoring 2 other characters, if now all of a sudden I just want to understand one thing about the other characters, I just want to like be able to give them some kind of a general order of defend the base, or like follow me or charge or go over there. I can't do that, like those two things plus 5 more for the third character that I'm focused on. It's going to be like 1 and 1 and 3. Like my bandwidth for making decisions and processing inputs around the thing that I'm supposed to be paying attention to is throttled drastically. So I think, and I think that has to do with like the scope at which you are trying to pay attention, right? That I can pay attention to more things in a very small scope than I can if I widen that scope at all. So I think it was a good decision. I think it was a really good decision to say you should only look at one thing. That's the thing you should pay attention to. You don't have to worry about your other characters in any way because you know exactly what they're going to be doing. They're just going to be standing there. Like, don't worry about it. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, I am certain that like high-level players who are good at video games and get good at this video game would do ridiculously amazing things giving, you know, parallel orders to multiple characters. But actually you can achieve, I mean, I think that the sort of like the actual effect that you will see in this game is that people get really, really good at switching between characters very quickly in order to move them, in order to sort of like micro them. But I think that, you know, you still have interesting advanced play effects without sacrificing the sort of brain power of more low-level or casual players who are going to benefit from being able to just say, like, this is my player, I'm moving this player, that's what I'm doing. I can't get a design patent on the shirt. Somebody else literally made that shirt. It's somebody else's shirt. I just wear it. Come on, guys. Like, seriously. Will we be having more Pyre? Well, let's see. I would like to. We'll see where it goes. Are we a good luck charm character? We meaning the character that we play, that the player plays in the game, who doesn't have a name? Who doesn't have a name? Or do you mean we like Twitch chat? Is Twitch chat a good luck charm character for me playing games? Good luck charm character. It feels much more specific than that. It feels like, you know, you are playing an active role. The player character is playing an active role, is doing something. Yeah, the reader is doing something specific and active and necessary. Whereas to me, when you say good luck charm character, that suggests like somebody who could just kind of hang out and be a good luck charm. I feel like that is not our role. Our role is something much more specific. It's not clear exactly what it is. It's directorial. It is suggested to me that the player character, the reader, is doing something akin to what the player is doing, controlling one of the you know, rights performers as they play the game, as they perform the rights. It's just not made explicitly clear, like, is that a telepathy? Is it some sort of like dream possession? Is it like shouting from the sidelines? I'm just not clear exactly like what form that direction takes. How's the quest for an emote coming along? I just sort of decided on what we're gonna do, which I'm excited about. We're gonna do some form of a dragon question emote that I'm hoping that will be evocative, not simply or explicitly of the like would this game be better question, but to be more of a dragon with a question emote, because I feel like that is very in the spirit of play-by-play. Contacting artists. So, good transition into end of show notes. If you are somebody or know somebody who has some experience creating Twitch emotes, and is open for commission work, I have at my disposal. I have available to me a single slot for a Twitch emote for this channel, for subscribers of this channel, and I am super excited about it and keen to like create something neat. And intimidated by the constraints of pixel art. So if you are also excited and less intimidated by pixel art, please contact me, probably on Twitter at NDEF, and let me know and share your portfolio. I'm looking to contract an artist to help me out with that. Oh yeah, okay. This is just gonna be quick. We're gonna quickly pull out. Oh, I forgot. I don't think I can do this part quickly, actually. You have 3 slots. No. Okay, well, yeah, hold on. We're not gonna. We'll come back to this. We'll come back. We'll figure out the emote thing. Game developer Barbie came out a couple of years ago. I was just talking about this with Michael on Michael and Netta on Twitter. Game developer Barbie came out a couple of years ago as part of an effort to create Barbie figures with a more diverse range of careers. And I forget what they all were, but there were several of them, and there were. Let me just. Yes? No? I don't know. I don't know how cameras work. So this was one of them. This was the one that I picked up. Several of my friends also picked it up. Game developer Barbie has a laptop computer and an iPad, and a like headset with a microphone, and also a cool green jacket. And she looks remarkably like a friend of mine, Aaron Reynolds, who was the lead designer on the game Nevermind, the horror game that got kickstarted last year and I think is available on Steam, but is primarily intended to be played with biofeedback of some kind, although they have a bunch of options now for like what that biofeedback can be. There's a great picture of Aaron. Wait, let me just see if I can do this. Like fast-ish. Answer is probably no. I probably really can't. Oh Jesus, I can't even find it. Okay. Oh, that's because that's the wrong. There it is. Let let's see. Bear with me. We're adding a media file. Just put it there. Where is it? It's on here somewhere. There it is. There it is. Right. That is Aaron sitting at a computer designing games, apparently on a Wacom tablet, lit dramatically by, as Jesse said, lit by lasers. I mean, this is like the coolest version of being a game designer that has ever existed. And remarkably, that is actually the life that Erin lives. She is the coolest game designer that has ever existed. But she also looks a hell of a lot like game designer Barbie. So that's the show and tell. Thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for being here to check out Pyre with me. I am so glad that it is so fucking rad. I'm like really super into it. Check out the links below. Thank you so much to people who have bought and donated bits to this channel, to everybody who has subscribed with like actual physical money or with Twitch Prime. Thank you so much. Really, really appreciate you supporting this. Love being able to do this and share these games with you guys and talk about them. Yeah, join in the conversation. You can contact me on Twitter. You can check out our forum or Discord channel, or all of the various things that members of the community are doing. Yeah, I think that's it. After class is going to take a break for a while. We will reevaluate what is going to happen with that once school starts again. And there are classes that we can be after. But in the short term, we're gonna take a break from after class. So no show tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday on Mostly Walking, and you can hang out here for the alternative chat. And I will see you again next week. Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, have a great night. Bye.